Hi everyone, I'm glad you stopped by today. We are going to review the classic game Karateka, originally developed for the Apple II in 1984 by Jordan Mechner. First, let's take a little look at some background and history. A lot of you probably recognize the name Jordan Mechner. He is the man behind the successful Prince of Persia games, which even have made it to the big screen. In his student years at Yale, he used his hobby and passion for computer programming to develop Karateka. He came up with a simple storyline set in old Japan, where you had to fight your way through the evil Emperor Akuma's fortress. The goal was to save the beautiful Princess Mariko. Mechner had taken silent film classes and wanted to implement this feel to Karateka. This combination of impressive visuals together with a simple gameplay made the game a success. It was ported to numerous platforms, like the Atari 8-bit computer. This was done by developer Robert Cook. In the end, Brotherbound sold over 500,000 copies of the game. Now that you know a little bit about backstory, let's take a closer look on this game and see if we can find out what made it so popular. Will it even hold up today for us retro fans? Let's fire up the Atari and take a closer look on the gameplay. The game starts off serving you scary music accompanied by the title screen. If you sit back and wait a little, the background story will unfold itself rather slowly. Now this is the Atari XE version, and it doesn't seem to give you the great view of the evil Akuma's fortress. I know these graphics were shown in the NES and the Apple II version amongst others. But you will get this cool cutscene. And here I have started a game. You will soon meet your first opponent, which you must defeat in order to continue on your quest. You and the enemy can punch and kick in 3 different heights. There are no way to block an attack, so get out of kicking distance to protect yourself. One kick or punch will remove one of those triangle-shaped hit points that you see at the bottom of the screen. Once all the hit points are gone, yeah, you guessed it, one of the combatants will fall.
Fatality.
You have only 1 life, so use all your karate skill to land the most hits. If neither of the fighters are hit for a few seconds, hit points are regenerated. You will also heal after a win. Now there are not the traditional separated levels in this game, but there are 3 different environments in which you must fight. You start outside the fortress and will eventually make it to the palace. The last place you will find yourself is in the dungeon, where your fair maiden Mariko awaits you. Your player can run, and I advise you to run immediately after you have stricken down the opponent. If you just stand there like an idiot, the palace guards will just pour out one after one and eventually kill you. You can also bow, but I have only received a bow back from the first guy. So do not attempt to bow or stand when your enemy is approaching you in a fighting stance, cause he'll eliminate you with 1 blow. Neither do run when you face an enemy in a fighting stance, because you will be dead. There are two other enemies aside from Akuma's lackeys. You have a hawk, which will visit you a couple of times inside the palace. Use punches to avoid being hit. Get back to the fishing boat, you flea-infested seagull. You also have a boss fight with Emperor Akuma himself. There are no difficulty settings in the game, but Akuma's henchmen will be harder to beat as you progress. In the start they are stupid and noticeably slower than you, but then once inside they get more resilient and smarter, and in a dungeon level they are as fast as you and really clever. The controls in this game could have been better. There is a slight delay from moving the joystick to player reaction, and this can definitely frustrate newcomers. On this Atari version, the speed of the game character can vary a lot. For unknown reasons, he suddenly becomes really fast, and if you find yourself in punching distance, you will most certainly destroy the opponent in no time. The visuals in the game is high above anything else considering the year it came out. The characters move fluently due to rotoscoping techniques used for their animation. Rotoscoping was also heavily used in later games like aforementioned Prince of Persia and Another World for the Amiga. Karateka will impress you with its storytelling without words, and maybe we'll get a Karateka movie with Van Damme.
And so forth. Now you also created Karateka back in the day, right? Because I remember playing that on my Commodore 64. Where's that movie? I want to see that movie where the guy goes to rescue the girl and she kicks him right in the face at the end and kills him, you know?
Karateka, yeah, well, stay tuned.
Are you working on something for it?
All I can say is that I actually think Karateka would make a pretty cool movie.
I think it would make a great movie. Cool. Well, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, George.
Anyway, throughout the game you will get memorable cutscenes which updates you on the progress. The audio consists of puny sounds while fighting, so the highlight here is clearly the music used during the cutscenes, which sets the mood. Karateka, it's a special game in itself. It was the start of the magnificent career of Jordan Mechner. The game was special for its time for the storytelling, which you never saw in other video games in 1984. Impressive graphics and dramatic music also brought this game to be a bestseller. The basic playing style of throwing kicks and punches makes the game easy to get into. On the minus side, this game can be a tad repetitive, with the same enemies from Akuma's army, which have a little difference apart from endurance. There are some surprises though, like Akuma's hawk and the lethal trapdoors. The control flaws can get very frustrating in the beginning, but you will find your own playing style to remedy this. There are clearly stronger titles on the Atari, but Karateka is definitively a classic, which should be in your collection. And here's a little something that you shouldn't do.
Brutality.